Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Roxbury International Film Festival Daily Script Reads. This is our final script read of this session for 2024. We started doing this during COVID shutdown when we had a complete virtual film festival. And we thought, oh, the people were doing these readings all over the place, and why not get professional actors to do it? Today's is a little different than if you've been coming during the week that we've had a writer. Today is our surprise reading, and we take some work that is well known and have professional actors read it. And our actors are pretty excited about this one because they get to play characters that are icons. So I will introduce all of them. First, we have Dina.
Hi, I'm Dina, and I will be playing Diane Nash.
And Odis.
Hi, I'm Odis Spencer, and I'll be playing Malcolm X.
Keith.
Hi, I'm Keith Mascoll. I'll be playing Martin Luther King.
And we have Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Gibson, and I will be playing Coretta Scott King.
I'm Andrea Lyman. I'll be the moderator, so I will not be playing a role today. And we have Sonya.
Hi, I'm Sonya Joyner. I'll be the narrator. Selma. Interior Grand Hotel, Presidential Suite, Oslo, Norway. We look directly into the eyes of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he's looking directly at us. He is deeply disturbed. He shakes his head, disappointed.
Geez, I wish I could hear that, Dr. King.
No. This isn't right. Corey, this isn't right.
What's that?
This necktie, it's not right.
Coretta Scott King enters from the dressing room in all her elegance and efficiency.
It's not a necktie, dear. It's an ascot.
Yes, but generally the same principles should apply, shouldn't they? This isn't right.
Isn't right, or you don't like it?
She crosses to him and waits for him to give up, then gently pulls the tie from the irregular knot and begins again.
I don't like how this looks.
It looks distinguished and debonair to me.
You know what I mean. Like we're here living high on the hog, dressed like this, while folks at home are, it's not right. Wait till the brother back home see me like this. They'll have a good laugh.
We'll let them laugh. It's not a crime to be away for a few days, Martin.
Their faces are close. She's focused on the tie. He's focused on her now, lighting up.
It's nice being away, huh?
Yeah, it really is.
Look, I'm gonna go be a pastor somewhere small, a college town, lead a little church, teach a class, the occasional speaking engagement.
I'll make out all the bills for us, especially the mortgage for our very own home, savings since we don't have a phone anymore at all.
Our own phoneless house. Perfect.
I'll let the little game as she finishes the fancy tie. They remain close.
Ever wish we could go back? Before?
I don't think we would if we could. You look handsome.
She turns around to the mirror and pats her hair in place as they each look upon the other's reflection. Exterior, Amelia Boynton residence, evening. Diane Nash knocks on the front door. The local leader, Amelia Boynton, answers. Then Coretta appears behind her. Coretta. Her face contorts in fear. Diane immediately raises her hand in understanding.
No, he's okay. He's fine.
Then what's going on, Di?
We need your help.
Interior car, later. Nash drives Coretta, now smartly dressed, for an appearance.
If they sent you, it's serious.
Well, I think they're taking this a bit more serious than it is. But it would be the first time. I disagree with the boys.
I admire you. I do. I wish there were more out there in the trenches.
You do more than you know, Miss King.
Martin often speaks of that night after the bombing, the girls. Says you gave him a lot to think about.
Yeah? You know, I don't know how many arrests, how many times spat on and pushed, hair inked, punched, and slapped. Lost count. But nothing ever made me want to hurt someone like those 4 little girls laying on that rubble. I cried and cried that night. Bevel and I decided to do one of two things. Either kill them bombers ourselves.
In shock, Coretta slowly turns her eyes from the road ahead to this outspoken young woman by her side.
Or drive this honorable governor, George Wallace, who let it happen, encouraged it even, drive that bastard out of office.
Coretta raises her eyebrows. Nash wonders if she said too much to the reserved first lady of the movement. A tense beat, then.
Girl, you are something else.
Doc might talk about me, talk about it kindly, no, but at the time, he didn't respond at all well.
To the killing option.
No, I kept that one to myself. I ain't crazy. To voting projects. I had a whole plan. I presented it to him. A trained nonviolent army that would surround Wallace' office in Montgomery and serve community from the state capitol building, lay our bodies on the railroad tracks, close the power companies, a protected sit-in on the scale on the March of Washington.
Coretta listens enthralled.
It was too aggressive for Doc. I knew it, but I was so mad. So Bevel and I came to Selma and started legal work and the locals, and Doc eventually came on the board with the community, raised their voices. All I know is things are happening now, and I'm glad for it.
Yes, yes. I'm glad too.
Interior, Brown Chapel meeting room, later that night. A cluster of SCLC leaders, Bevel, Nash, Williams, and Orange, watch the spectacle before them, wide-eyed. Coretta caught Scott King speaking intensely with Malcolm X in a corner.
I mean no disrespect. I come with great respect for your husband, Mrs. King.
You've said disrespectful things in the past, Minister, and my apologies for my previous words. So you understand why there is some alarm here tonight.
I do. I understand that. Your husband and I, we do not see exactly eye to eye on how to achieve progress for the Black man. And yes, I have been piercing in my critiques on nonviolence, but because we don't agree does not mean I'm the enemy.
What do you tend to say to these people then, sir? A lot of work has been done here. I don't intend to see it undone tonight.
Mrs. King, I have recently traveled to Mecca, the Holy Land, and I've learned more than I've ever previously knew. During the Hajj, several million people of different nationalities worship in unison. Let us just say, my eyes see in a new way. But your sheriff here, he doesn't know that. So allow me to be the alternative to your husband. Let the alternative that scare them so much that they turn to Dr. King in refuge. Let my being here represent the faction that will come if they don't give the good reverend what he's asking for, and soon.
If what you're saying is true, I'm not opposed to you speaking here tonight. Am I to take this as truth? Are you sincere, Minister?
I don't have an army behind me anymore. I have myself and the truth. That's all I stand on today. And I hope that's enough for you, sister.
Coretta is convinced. Interior Selma jail cell, day. Separated by bars, Coretta stands outside of King's cell. She's face to face with her husband as a white jailer occasionally looks on from several feet away.
He spoke well, but with less fire, I guess is the word. It seemed to be just as he said. His intention wasn't to.
What did he say again? Exactly this time. If you can recall, please. This is important.
He's trying to hide his irritation, but she knows him.
He talked about petitioning the United Nations of human rights violations if we didn't get what we are asking for. He talked about the field Negro and the house Negro, and
And I wonder which one I am in the scenario. Not hard to figure out.
wasn't like that this time.
Do you know what he said about us in the past, Coretta? He called us ignorant Negro preachers. He called me a modern-day Uncle Tom. Said on national television that the white man pays me to keep Negroes defenseless. What, the white man pays me? How could you allow it?
It wasn't like that, Martin. I'm telling you, he spoke with some of the words he's used before, but it wasn't aimed at you. It had more to do with helping us.
Helping us, okay.
Not that you need his help. I'm just telling you how it was.
This movement, our movement, has been one that has moved the needle. Our movement changes laws and day-to-day life for our people. We lay down our lives against those dogs and those bombers and those billy clubs. White people like him talk and shout about it. But what has changed? Actually changed.
You don't sound like yourself. You sound tired.
And you sound enamored.
He reacts shocked. As soon as he says it, he regrets it. He reaches through the opening, pulling her to him by her waist.
I didn't mean that. I just don't want this. All of our momentum to be in jeopardy. With the people, with the president, because of some violent rhetoric that ain't ever gonna happen. I'm disappointed that he was invited here. I'm upset that you were pulled into it. I'm tired. You're right.
Exhaling, he leans his head against the bars. She looks at him with concern, pity even, then leans her head too. Faces close, bodies close.
Rest then. Rest tonight, Martin.
And that's it. And welcome back all the actors. Yay. Fantastic job. Wow. And for the people in the audience, if you have a question or a comment, if you go to the Q&A, that's where we'll find what you have. And first, I'd like to open it up to the actors. You can raise your hand like this or use the raise hand function if you have any comments on this. I decided to do it when I was reading it and there were so many scenes. I thought, well, let's do it all from Coretta's point of view. You usually don't see that. We don't see many movies that are her. And even though Selma, if you see the whole movie, it's not her, but it had enough. So I liked that, and so the people. So any comments from any Odis?
Sure. As I was doing a little research this morning, I find it quite interesting. As I grew up in Roxbury, that Malcolm X lived in Roxbury in 1941 to 1944 on 72 Dale Street, which is just right around the corner from where I grew up. Found that fascinating.
Small world. We've been having that with some of these. The one we had yesterday, Small World, the writer was writing about Wally's Place, and one of the actors grew up next to Wally's Place. And also the writer, Lois Roach, talked about one of her relatives who's a musician, and it turned out one of the actors had played, David Curtis had played music with her relatives. So I love these kind of things. Anyone else? Any of the actors? Sonya, and then Keith.
I have quite a bit of connection. My grandfather was in part 7 of Eyes on the Prize.
Wow.
And I went to school with Marty, Dexter, and Bunny in Atlanta. And Marty was actually my lawyer. We had a court in school, and one of the white kids did something to me. So he represented me in court. We won. And also, there was a bombing in Alabama. It wasn't the church. It was when they bombed his house. My mother was at a basketball game at Alabama State University and went to see what was going on. And some white boys drove by and threw water on her, and she was scared it was acid, because back then they threw acid on us. And the first thing she thought of was, how is she going to explain how that happened when she was supposed to be at the basketball game at Alabama State? That has taught me, when I say I'm going somewhere, when I was little with my parents' car, I always went where I said, because I didn't want to have to explain how something happened.
Wow. And Keith, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to say that I really loved, we have a phenomenal Coretta, but it was just really nice to see it from her eyes. And we don't get to see that enough, of her in different situations and how she dealt with it. And so I just thought it was brilliantly played, and I'm glad that you did it this way, because that part of the story is really important.
Yeah, I would love to see, more Coretta stories and Diane Nash. I mean, come on, that would be great. Anyone else? Any comments? Yes, Dina?
I actually agreed with Keith. I was going to say the same thing. I'm glad you picked this part of the script, because I've seen Selma plenty of times, but most of the time when we're watching these films, we're focusing on the main character. So to see Coretta's side of it was just really good. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Not that I wrote it, but Heather?
And it's interesting because, to really chime in with what everyone is saying. Not only is it needed to see it from her perspective, and even I also immediately think of Betty, Malcolm X's wife, as well. Seeing it from their perspective, and how much, especially Coretta, how much she had to just stay within, not stay in her lane, stay in her zone. She's had to be strong. She had to be supportive, on top of dealing with just everything that's happening around her. So the level of poise, the level of even that quiet confidence that she has, and we don't hear enough about her. We don't hear enough about Betty as well. And so when when I first figured that we were reading this, I was like, oh yeah, I'm excited. Yes, let's hear it from her, please. Yes.
I think there is a play with Betty and Coretta that I remember back in the day, but it is interesting. We had our senior luncheon on Wednesday. Um, and we're going to do that every year. And what I suggested next year is that we have it and have filmmakers come and interview the seniors, because I brought our friend that's 113, another friend that'll be 100 later this month. So all the stories that people have. And I was actually talking to Lisa Simmons' mother yesterday about women's roles, and she was talking about a job that she had in one of the colleges as an administrator, and she said, but she knew she would have to leave when she was 5 months pregnant because you weren't allowed to work when you were showing. It's like, it's just unbelievable the things she said, because they didn't think the aesthetic was good for for a woman to be pregnant. So the things that women had to do, leave their job, and if you were a teacher, you couldn't teach when if you got married, like all these different things that they put upon back in the day that was just a regular thing. Yeah. Pregnant, you can't work. Not that you didn't need to work, not that the money was going to come from somewhere, but just, well, no, we can't have that. And certainly in schools, I don't know what they think, first grader sees a woman that's pregnant, what, but that was a thing, so that's, I'm thinking of that with Coretta Scott King and the way she speaks, to her husband. Wait, we have Adrienne DeSimone. Let me not try to act like I can read without my glasses. Do you find it surprising that Selma was only nominated for Best Picture and Best Original Song at the Academy Awards? Keep in mind that this was in the first of 2 Oscars So White years. At least the diversity of Oscar nominees has gotten better in subsequent years. And yeah, and for me, do I find it surprising? No. Did it make me mad? Yes. It is crazy. And also the other thing they do is they don't market the films very well. Certain films they'll market and certain films they don't. So there's that. I'm going to let other people give their answers to that. And then Allison also said, I like the perspective, and it was long enough to get a sense of Coretta's calm and confidence. So anyone have any comments about the Oscars and Selma? No?
I mean, it's not surprising at all. And yes, I do agree with Adrienne that we are diversifying. Still got a long ways to go, very long ways to go. But I mean, even I remember this moment. It felt good to see the song win. It's a beautiful song. And if y'all haven't listened to it, please do. But yeah, it was a huge letdown. It was a huge letdown because the film, and y'all know, some of these nominees be like, what? That really? A few raised eyebrows almost every year. But it definitely was one of the films that you 100% felt should have gotten a lot further. And then yes, and then the Coretta's calmness and her confidence, and I can only imagine just the anxiety, but still keeping that not tucked away, but keeping it under control in the midst of everything. So yeah, so definitely agree about the Oscars. And yeah, that her confidence and calmness it inspires me to this day.
When you think of the calmness, I think of Emmett Till's mom and how she had to present herself up front. Her son's brutally murdered, but she can't be, showing too much anger or anything that looks hysterical. She had to, be firm, but pretty much calm. That was the presentation. And it's still true. you know, for if your skin is if you're black, you still have to worry about the way you're presenting yourself. You know, somebody kills your kid and you still can't be screaming, oh no, what's wrong with that? You know, no wonder. So that's tragic. And also where we are today, compared to that's a thing that I've been finding that's sad with the seniors, because they saw Obama win and everybody was happy, and then now what's happening now, they've been there before and they're just sick of it. People that are in their hundreds, 90s and hundreds are just so sick of that. And it's frustrating where we are. Okay, anyone? Oh, let me see. Do we have? No, that's the same. So anyone have anything else? Any other comments or questions? Okay, well, this is the final. We have more showings for people that are in town in person at the MFA, and then it ends, and then the rest of our program is online. So if you got the online, you can watch any of the RoxFilm. Not all, because not all the films are online. A lot of them are still looking for distribution and stuff like that. But quite a few films, if you missed them, because some things were simultaneously, you can see them online. And I thank each and every one of the actors, particularly my cousin Heather. It was so great. She's it was great that we get to see each other. And that's it. Thank you, Keith and Dina and Sonya and Odis and Heather. It's just been pure pleasure. And wait a minute, looks like, oh, never mind, we have more questions. Ellen says, I noticed that the script readings are taped. Will they be available for viewing again? Yes, on YouTube. Probably within the next couple of weeks, it'll go up there. And just to remind the actors, it is under a SAG after micro budget agreement, so you're okay on that one. And Christopher James said real quick, oh, Odis, you were great. They are neighbors, and you might have seen Christopher on Wednesday. He was in one of the daily reads, and his wife was in a daily read on Monday. So this has been a great chance to have various actors get together and not have to leave their homes. So thank you all. This is wonderful. Bye-bye.
Bye.